Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. So, we're going to dive right deep into this one because this one's going to affect a lot of people. And what I'm talking about is the H1B visa and how it's going to affect the United States and especially cybersecurity, uh, with the market being the way it is. How is this going to affect hiring more people in the United States? I'm going to show some stats. I'm going to go through some of the numbers. And we'll start off with this one in particular. What we know about the H1B visa right now in the United States? A few things is that the number has been increasing, obviously, from applicants joining or applying for the H1B visa. About 400,000, it says here, high skilled foreign workers were approved in 2024. And another detail to all this is that the denial rate dropped to 2% in 2022, a low since 2009. Denial rates peak at 15% in fiscal 2018 during Trump's first administration. That included 24% of new applicants for initial employment and 12% for renewal application for continuing employment. The Trump administration implemented stricter immigration rules, including tightening the definition of specialty occupation and limiting third party placement of H1B visas. Now, I want to get into topic number 3 is that India is the biggest holder of H1B visa workers. 73%, roughly three quarters, 73% of the H1B visa workers whose applicant were approved in fiscal 2023 were born in India. Majority approvals every year since 2010 have gone to workers born in India. Now, there are a lot of things that you can speculate. People have been speculating on why Trump is doing this. I'm not getting into that details of, trying to assume why this is happening. But what I am going to do is give my 2 cents on what will happen if this actually stays and takes place. So that's going to be pretty interesting to learn. But do stay with me. So this article, well, this link here is going to detail a lot more. I'm not going to every single little thing. You can see there's 6 more items. There's a lot of things. Who's hiring? Let's just look at who has the top H1B visa approvals across the United States, and you can see are large or corporations that can afford to do so, right? But if the Amazon has 11,299. Now, a lot of speculation as well. I can't prove this, but one of the points is that if you don't go towards the H1B visa, you're forced to hire within the United States. One argument is that they're saying people in the United States do not have that talent, which I disagree. Okay. Now, of course, this is technology in general, but let's just focus on cybersecurity. You cannot tell me that in the United States that we do not have individuals who are qualified and that you have to outsource that with a visa from another country to pull someone in to do something very specialized in cybersecurity, whether it's firewall, whether it's like threat hunting or a SOC analyst. I feel that we have all that here domestically, but corporations are finding cheaper ways, cheaper solutions, like they always do. Sorry about that. Like they always do, because it's just like manufacturing, streamlining, uh, you know, the manufacturing and buying products, making products. Like you don't open a factory here because you know the cost of it. Same, I feel like when the whole situation with the fast food restaurants increasing their wages, and then you get McDonald's trying to automate a lot of that. Okay, just giving my 2 cents in comparison. So with Amazon having 11,000, Cognizant is a consulting firm, and of course you're looking at this list just as I am. There is a big number now. If you were to add 100,000 for every one of these going on top, that's an expensive way of hiring people, and that would force a lot of companies to start sourcing and having individuals being hired within domestically wherever the company is corporate offices, right? Or within the United States. Hopefully that will bring back remote work. I don't know. Maybe. So why is this a thing? Now, again, I'm not going into the details of why the administration or the political side or the government is doing this for whatever reason, but supposedly it's a way of reducing, the immigration people coming in and taking jobs. All right. So that was one of the uh, arguments or topic. Now, this is another article from Business Insider. I thought this one was pretty, another good source of information. On Friday, of course, the White House announced this $100,000, $100,000. It used to be 1,000. Now it's $100,000 for the application. Now, what I did read and I saw was that anyone who's currently on the H1B visa is not getting this increase, but any new applicants are going to be subjected to this $100,000 application fee. Now, also, there's a lot of fear in people who are traveling out and trying to come back and in on this work visa that, everyone's just like in a standstill because no one knows how that situation will work. Will renewals of contracts, if you're not, if you're already in the H1B visa, will the renewal of that individual have to pay this $100,000? From what I read and what I understand is that no, they don't. It's new applicants who are applying for this H1B visa. So I'm not sure if those are set in stone right now, but don't take all of what I'm saying right now as 100% because this can flip flop like in a matter of seconds. And we have seen that in the past where the administration has definitely done a lot of things in a very short amount of time that dramatically affects the entire stock market. Okay. Some are suggesting, and I say some, and these are opinions based on other people that I've read. It's more of a market manipulation, right? Because by Monday morning, because this is in place, companies gonna be frantic, and the market's gonna dip a little, and people have the opportunity to buy into it, and and then make these changes. Discussions will be happening politically with these countries in talks, whereas India, U.S. I don't know the details of that, and I will not get into the details of it because I just don't know. But what I want to speak about is this, right? So if these H-1B visas are $100,000, there is a higher chance that American companies who cannot afford this, like if you companies outside of this list, or maybe even the companies within this list, may not be able to afford that hit of 100,000 each applicant. It will impact their bottom line, and because of their bottom line being impacted, what's going to happen with the H-1B visas, right? So this is actually broken down by in the states. And that's even more interesting. New York, I know there's tons because I interact with a lot of them myself. But here's the deal. If H-1B visa individuals are no longer, considered for roles and positions, I really do feel there's a high chance. I don't think there's much of an option at this point. There's that you would have to hire back within domestically or within the United States that does not require H-1B visa, because who wants to pay $100,000 with no guarantees, right? Because and then on top of that, corporations, I feel like they go this H-1B visa because it's so cheap. You're able to pay cheaper salary to individuals who are like wanting to leave their country, and in this case, India, to come over to the United States because it's supposedly the land of the free and the more prosperous, and they'll be making more money, even though they're getting less. Companies are paying less to them, but for them to make this amount is a lot, right? I've seen that. I've experienced that. I've seen it with China. If you were to live in China and making a certain salary, it's pennies, right? But if you come to the United States, even making a double of what you're making in China, you're doing well off if you were to bring that money back to China or something like that. So there are people outside of the United States are very appreciative of this salary, but within the United States, it's a different scenario because the cost of living is expensive, da da da, and a healthcare cost, right? There is also, I feel like, H1B visa people, individuals who are part of this, are more subject to fear, right? They don't talk back. They don't fight back. They're scared like their visa will not get renewed. They won't get brought back in the following year or when it expires. And corporations has that leverage. Unlike if you were to hire, uh, people within the United States, they have a little tendency to be more vocal about things. They have a tendency to be more uh, probably part of a union, or they try to start a union. They have more employment rights, and they have more things that they can leverage. Being a United States citizen and not on an H-1B visa, uh, just vocal in general. More things to use as a ammunition, I would say, use as ammunition against their employment if they're being treated unfairly and other things on top of that. So, am I saying that all H1B visa people are being uh, treated unfairly? It's possible. I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, they don't have much of a voice, a stronger voice, as if an American citizen working for a company. I'm just putting that out there. I have never experienced it. I never worked as a H-1B visa, but I could only imagine that if my stay here was subject to my performance, how I do, how I interact, how I relate to my hiring manager or the company, I would be on my best behavior every single day, right? You could probably imagine that. So, not wanting that to be a thing, I don't know if the administration cares for that specifically, but I think it's more tactical that they're doing this, especially the administration and why they're doing it. But that's beyond, again, the scope of this discussion. My point is that I feel like if this stays in place the way it is, especially now that it's only been announced on Friday, I could probably even, I can't even say if by next Friday that this would just go away again and we're back to square one and people are hiring. But I do see a lot of comments and people, and I'm not just saying comments within this YouTube video, but just, in Reddit and all these other articles, and people are just saying like, oh, then companies can just offshore, open up an office somewhere in India and hire those people. Um, I guess that would be a possibility, but the cost in that, like, what am I gonna open a business? You got legal team, you got to put all these things together. Like, why would you? Your bottom line, you have to make it make sense. If that cost is higher than what you would generate because you're gonna hire a bunch of uh, domestically within India, then so be it. All right, that's a they call it. They said it was a loophole, but I don't think it's a loophole. I think it would be more of a strategic business move, right? Well, you could probably combine the two and say they're both the same thing. But, and not everyone will be able to afford to do things like that. So if they don't do it, are they stuck with just hiring uh, maybe other countries that are not India? Because right now, apparently, since it doesn't even matter, right? Because this H-1B visa, $100,000 applying to anyone who's applying for it, not just India. The only reason why it's focused on India is because they got over 70% invested in this, meaning majority of them are coming from India. So why and how what will we see going forward as far as the job market? I think there's still going to be a lot of uncertainties right now. Because of the fact that Friday was the first day that it took effect, I think a lot of companies are not going to really just submit to it instantly. I think they're going to sit back and wait to see what's going on before they start hiring people. I don't feel like it will be something where, oh, it was announced Friday, it's set in stone, it's signed in, and we're not going to do H1B visas anymore. We're just going to start looking for people locally, right? That's a possibility. And I would probably think that a lot of smaller organizations who are not in the top 500 companies that have billions of dollars to spare will probably say, hey, we have to reconsider these H1B visa workers because what we thought was cheaper to hire someone overseas and pay a small application fee of $1,000, and we're paying half the salary or even a quarter of the salary of someone that we would pay in the United States. We don't have to pay for their health care. We don't have to pay for this. We don't have to pay for that. And if the day that they don't work, like they don't get paid for the days they don't work because they're not a full-time employee. I don't know, right? There's so many options and so many things to consider. Maybe these companies will start looking to hire people locally and fill these jobs. Now, will they hire them and pay them the required or market rate salary for these positions? They may be forced to. I don't know. They may have. They will try to probably, I think, make it because I would do this myself. Is that I would have to balance what I'm looking for. If I'm going to pay $150,000 for a cybersecurity engineer, and let's just say I'm paying half of that. Let's just say 75,000 in India. I'm hiring someone with H1B visa. I'm paying them 75,000 to do the same thing. The company might have to eat that cost because there's no way you can hire, unless they're really desperate, a cybersecurity engineer for 75,000 and then expect them to do everything within your job description that you're imagining them to do, like firewalls, DLP, and EDRs, and SIMs, and all those, functions of a cybersecurity blue team, right? I'm sitting here, I'm looking at you guys, and I'm talking to you guys. Would you take a position like that for 75 grand or maybe even less, right? Working in the United States? I don't think that would even cover your cost of living, your rent, your food, your insurance, like a whole bunch of stuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff. So just want to share that with you guys right now on this beautiful Sunday morning. So hopefully this is a topic of discussion. Please comment below and let me know what you think about all this. There's just so much to read, and I'm just following on this to see where it leads to. All right. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys again really soon. Take care.